ready for takeoff.
We are cleared for takeoff.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Time to take flight in your community and in your life. This is Audio Airstrike.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Audio Airstrike, episode 194. I'll be your host, Everett Hall-McNeill. Thank you for joining us, where we take pop culture topics and talk about how that can apply to society, life, and culture. Let's get right down to it. With me, I have a special guest at this time, someone who is an actor, overall comedian, a lot of different traits, pro wrestler. He is a jack of all trades in a lot of ways when it comes to entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, a reoccurring guest is back on Audio Airstrike. Patrick Miguel Lyons is with us. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm chilling, fam. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, man, it's good, man. So how was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, man, we tore it up. Spent time with, my lady and her family, and had a very Puerto Rican, Thanksgiving. So it was loud. Coquito was out, you know what I'm saying? Like, had the flans and all of that. So we got busy, man. We got down.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's really good. So I wanted to ask you this, man. So what is usually your favorite dish?
Oh, man. Hands down, bro. It's always the collards and the sweet potatoes, man, and the macaroni. You feel me? Like I was raised with my mom's side of the family, so, and my mother was mixed as well, but like, coming up in black families, you know what I'm saying? If the macaroni ain't right and them sweet potatoes ain't right, or the collards ain't right, oh yeah, we're gonna have to ship you to another city, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
yeah, it's definitely, that's a must.
Real good,
if you get somewhere and the macaroni and cheese ain't right, like one time I went to a Friendsgiving. Yes, I'm putting somebody on blast. I'm not going to mention a name. I went to a Friendsgiving. Yo, the mac and cheese was watery. I threw that straight in the trash.
How in the world do you get watery mac and cheese, man? You do it in layers, brother. They should know this. You lay down you cook your macaroni first. Lay that down, throw the Velveeta on top of that, do another layer, then another layer, then another layer. Come on now. Science.
They don't, man, tell them that. Tell them that. They didn't do it right. It was trash. Well, luckily, I ain't figure out who it was.
Who put the cranberries in the potato salad?
No, I've had people put cranberries in chicken salad, which in my opinion, you ain't supposed to do that.
I drop kick you today.
Yo, soon as I heard somebody say, "Oh, there's like cranberries in the chicken salad," I was like, "Nah, fam, we not eating.
That ain't it.
No, that is not it."
I can't.
Who told you to put that in there? Right. It'd be one thing if you told me, "Hey, we put some ginger in the chicken salad because that goes together. That goes well." Right. But cranberry, no. Yeah. See, that's somebody doing too much. Trying to do something different. No, you're doing too much. Just stick to the plan. Yeah. Stick to the game plan. Flavor over experiment. Flavor over experiments. So we know it's been a couple of weeks since this topic was removed, but I definitely want to touch on it. The cinematographer from the movie Rust was fatally shot, and on accident, by Alec Baldwin. And it's one of those situations where this was done on a ranch. This was done on a ranch in New Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm reading it as I'm talking, so if I'm stopping and going, you'll see why. Basically, Helena Hutchins, who is the cinematographer for Rust, passed away due to an accidental shooting by Alec Baldwin. Now, with that being said, I do want to touch on this and say, first of all, prayers goes out to the families of the lives that have been affected. There was a lot of problematic stuff on this shoot from a budget standpoint, from a safety standpoint, from a personnel standpoint, people leaving due to the conditions and stuff in that regard. And then this was just I'm not trying to gravitas this, but this was like the icing on the cake in terms of a number of issues that happened. So in my personal opinion, I think it was an overall crappy job on everybody involved, from the production company, staff, where was the armor at? You know, every film shoot when it comes to if you're going to use a blank or you're going to use blanks, you know, you have an armor on to make sure that safety and protocols are in, people knowing what they're doing with a gun, especially if you're doing live rounds. I don't know why even after when The Crow was shot, why we're still using live rounds in movies. Like
it's not the fact that they was using live rounds. It's not the live rounds piece. You know, because they necessarily, so what they do is they don't use live rounds. They use, it's gunpowder essentially. And what happens is that they mix the gunpowder with the blank to give it that, like that pop sound that makes it sound a lot realer than it is. But it's like, you know, like, I mean, it's like you said, you know, the budget and all of that other stuff, and, you know, formal complaints already made beforehand and all of that. So in the end, it really boils down to, you know, the prop manager and the director, you know what I'm saying? If people was already putting in complaints, but, you know, the director ain't really do anything. But yeah, it's like you said with Brandon Lee, you know, we haven't had, I mean, there has been mishaps, but not to the point where like somebody has passed. But like, we haven't seen something like this since Brandon Lee, you know? And it's like, again, you know, it's the gunpowder mixed with the blank getting caught, you know what I'm saying? And then it shoots out, like, but what people fail to realize is that, like, when you mix the gunpowder with the blank, it shoots out like a real gun in the end. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just, you know, but the crazy thing is like the photographer was hit and passed, but also the director was hit and fatal and well, didn't have a fatal, but like a lethal, got hit with a lethal, like, cause it went through, like, so it hit one person and then hit another person, hit the director as well. So like, you know, the director was in the hospital in critical condition. So, you know, but everybody's like, you know, we're going to stop using guns in movies and blah, 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 this, that, and the third, you know, or other people are like, oh, well, you know, we have massive amounts of technology, you know, to where we don't need to use live rounds. You can just make the, you know, the sound for it or whatever, you know, and then people are like, oh, well, it's a low budget jump, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, even still with low budget, you can still, like, with a small program, make a gun sound, you know, but it's, I mean, we live in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, people aren't going to really go for the whole, like, fake, you know, like, it's like Wanted. Like, everything in Wanted gun-wise was real, minus the curving bullet stuff. You know, only that part was CGI. But also at the same time, like, you didn't think to have a gunsmith on, like a master gunsmith on site. Like, you didn't have enough budget for that. Like, that's my whole thing. And then the person who handled the gun, you know what I'm saying? Like, the prop manager who handled the gun has no gun training whatsoever. So that's another problem. Like, it's not the prop itself. It's, you don't have the proper team to handle weaponry, like, and that's what it all boils down to. But then you even got people like, you know, you also have, you know, stars who have been in enough action movies, Alec Baldwin being one. He was in The Shadow. The Shadow uses guns, you know, that no gun safety, you know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, but also, you know, you can't really put it on Alec Baldwin, because if the prop director says that the gun is clear, he can only go off of what the prop director is saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't hold him at fault for going by his job. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's like me, like, if I go out, do a scene and I'm using a gun, or prime example, we like when we did our knife choreo in Beast, you know what I'm saying? Like if somebody tell me that, you know, the weapon is clear, then that's what I'm gonna go off of. Like, I'm not gonna think twice about it because they're the head person of props.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't have to check a gun. I shouldn't have to check a prop before I use it because I'm the actor. Like everything goes down as a team. You know what I'm saying? Like, and everybody does their part to make a film. So in the end, the only person at fault is the prop director and the director not handling, you know, the right protocols to do weapons. You know, you know for a fact that you're doing a Western, and Westerns always have guns in them. But your first thought was like, oh, we don't have enough money to get a gunsmith. Like you trying to be cheap and be like, oh, well, we don't need a gunsmith. Like, come on, son. Like it's logical stuff. Like, but I don't know.
I mean, it just this was a poor excuse me. This was a poorly planned film off the rip. And I'm sitting over here looking at this and I'm going, how could a studio? Because this ain't like, come on, this ain't like a smaller budget thing that me or you would do. This, they have a bigger budget that is, it's over six figures, safe to say. So the issue comes in where it's like, okay, did not everybody get the correct cost as to what this was going to cost, and as to, okay, for certain scenes, if it's going to require this, do we have enough logistics put in place for this to go exactly as the scene is supposed to go? If it's a situation where we don't, because it's going to affect budget, let's rewrite that scene right then and there and figure out another way to convey what we're trying to convey on a more safer level. Like, for example, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, Beast was to a point supposed to be guns. I changed it to knives because it would just be better for the project, and we wouldn't have to go around as much red tape.
That and also, like, you get a different feel when you do hand-to-hand combat versus doing, you know, gun fu, quote unquote. Yeah. But like, all right, put it to you like this. Prime example. We all love I forget the director's name all the time. John Chu. You know, we wouldn't have gun fu if it wasn't for him, right? He had a good enough budget to shoot these classic films while they were low budget in our terms. He shot these classic films and he was safe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he probably had somebody managing the props,
right?
Like
gun wise, like he was safe. You ain't hear no people getting popped at his stuff, and that man is guns galore. We've seen like almost every movie that he had Chow Yun-fat in, like, he was safe. You know what I'm saying? And that man is still here today. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of his jumps from the jump was just straight all guns. Like, and they became classic masterpieces. So I don't like, and that's my whole thing. Like, I'm not understanding how, you know what I'm saying, we're in 2021 and you don't have enough money to get a gunsmith, a master gunsmith. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Or at least get an armorer. You know what I mean?
Exactly, bro. Like, it's not hard, bro. These are, bro, if you know you using guns, why wouldn't you have the proper staff to make sure all of that was straight? You want it to be cheap. And like, this is my thing. And it goes back to the director. You want it to be cheap and you wanted to save more money to do whatever else. Like, Oh, but you had enough to get Alec Baldwin on the movie, right? And whoever else was going to be on that jump. You had enough for costumes. You had enough to take your ass out to Mexico and be on a ranch. Oh, but you didn't have enough for a gunsmith, though, or armor. That doesn't make any sense to me, bro. Like, come on now, son.
It doesn't make any sense. And it's one of those situations where it's like, it's a constant reminder, like, yo, just if something's not going to be planned out correctly, just don't do it at all. Just save yourself the headache and the stress. I'd rather, if it got to a situation where a film wasn't working out because, quite frankly, we didn't have the budget for it, okay, fine. Like, I guess it's just not the right time to do it. And I can live with that. I'd rather live with that than go gung-ho on it and then realize you are not prepared. And I've been in that situation where you are not prepared for what you're asking for in the script. And then you have to change stuff around.
Here goes another prime example. We're in the 80s, right? Oh, no. We're in the 90s, right? Think about the first Blade movie. Marvel
Go ahead,
was
keep talking. I'm going to adjust this light.
I got you. Now think about it. Marvel was literally about to go bankrupt. And Blade was their last hope. So a company that almost went bankrupt had enough intellect. Oh, we're going to use guns in this movie? Bet we're going to get the proper people to handle such things. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a company can almost go bankrupt, what are we doing? It's 2021. It shouldn't matter if it's a low budget film or not. Like, that's just common knowledge.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. It's crazy because I look at the situation and I go, there's so many things that could have been done to avoid somebody from being like, yo, RIP to some of the people. Like, it's just one of those situations. Then you got crew that walked. Like, that tells you the conditions when, like, that, if that ain't a red flag, when you got some crew walking, I don't care how big, small it is.
Right. It was a couple of red flags, bro. And this is Wade, but that was just the cherry on top of the ice cream. You know what I'm saying? It was a bunch of complaints prior when they looked into the whole thing. Yeah. So it was a red flag, a huge, man, that might as well have been a Grand Prix flag. Like, for the,
yeah,
for the
it's
whole
true.
project. It's like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like just everything about it was just wild, crazy, bro. And then like now you got, I haven't heard anything about the director and his recovery, but you know, now you have somebody who's gone. Like, that's somebody's family, bro, because you didn't take the proper safety. And now the director's gonna have to live with that, son. You got to live with
the rest of his life.
Period.
For the rest of his life, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Speaking of, I hate to go back to back with this, but more tragic news. So we'll get into it. The Astro World concert mayhem.
Boy, I've been talking about this thing for almost, what has it been, 2 weeks now?
Yeah.
3 weeks.
So I'm going to just give my thoughts on it. For those of you who do not know what happened, which I doubt nobody knows what happened because it's been plastered everywhere. I'm going to just get it right down into my thoughts, man. Like, this is another example of what were y'all doing. Y'all know y'all do this every year. Y'all know what type of show Travis Scott brings. Y'all know that there's got to be proper personnel.
Mm-hmm.
But also, why in the world are we not coaching the fans to be like, hey, we appreciate you for coming to the show, but when you enter in, don't trample over nobody. Don't trample over nobody. Don't run. Just walk patiently. Everybody will get to see Travis. but you're just gonna walk with some sense. And also, why is anybody 18 or younger at the freaking concert? That's not the place I would have a 9-year-old.
And I'm somebody. Look, me and my brother had this conversation, and me and him are two dudes who go to concerts or used to go to concerts heavily.
Yeah,
heavily.
We know.
You know what I'm saying? I've been to Linkin Park concerts. I've been to, I've been to metal concerts. I've been to hip hop joints. I've been to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a concert dude, hands down. I've been to big venues, small venues, and this stuff ain't never happened, bro. Period. Never happened. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just about the artist, bro. Like, the venue. Like, you can't put blame on an artist for what the venue should have had. Period. Right. Oh, he didn't care. He he was like, whatever. You know, and at first I was kind of upset because I'm like, damn, son, like you acting like you don't care. Like, in some of the interviews, it looked like he didn't care. But then I saw other footage where he literally was like, yo, like, chill out, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, but they're not going to show that. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to bring up this point. Some people have educated other people being like, when you're on a stage, like going to a small venue like SOBs or a sound stage in Baltimore or something like that, you can kind of see where everybody is to a point.
Mm-hmm. Or you go to
when you're on a massive stage in front of 100,000 people, you probably can only see the first row in front of you, if that. Everything else is just a sea of people are black, straight black. So you can't see everything.
Or prime example, if you ever been to Warped Tour, like, them jonts get wild, but people don't get, like, you ain't never heard nobody dying from that jont.
Right.
Like, mind you, my brother was more of a mosher than me, but it's like how people make it out of mosh pits. You know what I'm saying? Like, real hardcore, like, metal concerts. I've been to them janks, bro. And them youngins, like, they might come out with, like, scrapes and bruises because of moshing, but that's, to be expected. But, like, you've never heard about anybody dying, bro.
Yep.
Like, I've been to Warped Tour, and you talking about the venue is stacked, person to person, and we outside, like, getting busy. Like, you know what I'm saying? For Mice and Men, Villains, Beartooth, like, back in the day, I wrestled a bear once, like, or Devil Wears Prada, like, bro, like, I've been to see Sum 41. I done seen Yellow Card. I done seen like Korn, and, like, I've seen Killswitch Engage, bro. Like, I've never ever seen some crazy stuff like that, bro. Like, it's like now we're in the day and age where now youngins can't even go to concerts now, bro. Concerts. Like,
without people acting a fool. And then it's one of them things where does Travis Scott promote a rage type of thing? Yeah, but I can name rock bands. I can name rock bands that have turned around and looking for the same type of rage. They don't do none of that.
Bro, I've literally seen prime examples. I'm a massive Slipknot fan. I love Slipknot. I'm a massive Slipknot fan. For those of you who are into metal and, like, stuff like that, like, Slipknot is one of the classic bands. So, I have multiple friends who have been to those type of concerts, and they mosh as well. But nobody has ever died from this stuff, man. Like, it's like, I don't know. I feel like at this point, I feel like entertainment as a whole is starting to look real unsafe right now. Like, just like we were priorly talking about, like the stuff that happened on the Rush set. Like, it feels um it feels like now entertainment is unsafe to do now. Like, and it's crazy to me, bro. Like I just feel like, I don't know, like the way things are looking, it look like entertainment ain't safe no more.
Well, it's what I predicted a while ago, that you're going to have some people that haven't been, that are kind of renegadish, and they're going to get out of a pandemic not knowing how to act. And this is a sign of that. So, and I'm not trying to denigrate hip hop concerts, because a bunch of people at Rolling Loud, and outside of maybe a little bit of fighting here and there, everybody went home safe. So
you ain't never heard about stuff like this at Coachella?
Never.
What makes Astro any different, bro? I ain't never even heard of Astro until now.
Right. And he's partnered with the city because the city knows how much money this actual event is bringing in.
Exactly.
So now when this comes up, of course, they're going to be like, hands up, this ain't had nothing to do with us. This is the situation. This is what went on. And now he's left with a lawsuit pending. And it ain't just him being sued. It's Apple, it's Drake, it's, a slew of people. And can you blame them?
You can't. You really can't, because safety wasn't, it's like I was saying, like, it's the same thing with the Russ thing. Like, it's like safety doesn't matter anymore now, bro. Like, I feel like there's an attack happening on entertainment, on all fields, no matter what field it is, not just films, on music, and all of that other stuff, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's, or a prime example, I know you didn't have a prompt to bring it up, but this, like, what just happened with Seth Rollins, and the fan just randomly just ran out and tackled him from behind, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and granted, like WWE, like, they don't play, and most wrestlers don't play. Like, you've heard stories about wrestlers being jumped on by fans in the middle of like a show going on. And then the wrestler end up folding him up. But then they like, oh, well, we should press a lawsuit and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, bro, they attacked them. So how are they at fault? Like, this is a show for everybody. How does everybody else got sense? But there's one person that don't. I put my hands on them, and now I'm about to get a lawsuit for what?
Well, and also, I'm not trying to make an excuse for the guy. But apparently, the guy had turned around, got into some type of, somebody was manipulating him, so he got into one of those scams where he was convinced somebody was Seth Rollins, which led up to that incident, which is crazy to me. Like, how you get scammed out of money and then you still think it's Seth Rollins, you go in there and tackle dude.
But, like, that's the whole thing. Also, it's like, he's not the first one with that going on. Like, I don't know if you heard about what's been going on with Tom Ellis, the guy who played Lucifer or plays Lucifer. People been getting scammed by like this fake Instagram or whatever that is, asking people for money, and he had to publicly like publicly speak and be like, he was like, in no way, he was like, bruh, that is not my Instagram account. He was like, the fact that he even had to say his actual Instagram or whatever, like, it's crazy to me. Or his Facebook too. Like, it's crazy to me, son. Like people can't even have privacy now, bro. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's not one thing, it's another, bro. Like, I just feel like entertainment is being attacked as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've been seeing it with Dave, You've been seeing it with like people like Seth Rollins. You've been seeing it with like, stuff like the stuff that's going on with Russ. Like you just been seeing it everywhere, bro. Like at this
Bring to
point, it
light
feels
what's going
like,
on with Russ.
huh?
Bring to light what's going on with Russ.
No, I mean like just the whole like the gun situation and all of that other stuff and just like public safety, like people's safety. Like, it's like now we just don't care about people's safety anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like Seth Rollins just had a baby. Him and Becky Lynch just had a baby. Like he got a family to go home to. And it's unsafe for some random person just to come run up on him and, do what he do. Like, because if he get hurt, that's it for him. You know what I'm saying? And you be lucky if you luck out like Daniel Bryan, where you out for X amount of years and then you get blessed and then now you're able to step back in the ring again. Same thing with Edge. But like it can all be over in a single swoop, because somebody does something. You don't know how these people act nowadays, bro. And the stories that you hear, they wilding out.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those situations where it's like, at what point does security and people that do security or public safety, at what point do we go, okay, we're looking at all this stuff. We have to be a little bit more stricter now with our policy till people know how to act. Like, this shouldn't surprise anybody. We have been technically stuck inside for like roughly a year and a year and some change now. So we've been stuck inside due to the pandemic for a year and some change. Some of y'all got jobs where you can go outside. Some of y'all got jobs where y'all still working from home. And some of y'all may be still struggling. We ain't judging nobody in between. However, people are getting out with their money active, and not everybody is going to know how to act in that situation. Not everybody's going to know how to act in that situation at all. So now, when you got topics like the Travis Scott issue coming up, when you got people sitting over there attacking athletes, attacking wrestlers, attacking just people, entertainment in general, it's like they forgot what their manners is. At what point well, it's not that deep, and you shouldn't leave your manners at the door unless you were growing up with some. Like, especially if you was growing up with something. Like, you can't sit over here and tell me that the pandemic was that terrible to the point where you forget what your manners are. Or is it a situation where you never had manners to begin with? Now you stuck in the house, now you outside, now you just wild and acting a fool. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. You either gonna show up, do what you gotta do, be respectful, have a good time, but you make sure you get home safely. If you ain't thinking about everybody else getting home safely, then you shouldn't be out. I don't care if you're vaccinated or not vaccinated. If you ain't on that type of time where it's like, okay, we all here, we all having a nice time, but let's make sure we all get back home safe, and that's the goal, is to have a nice time, make sure we get back home safe, then what the heck are you outside for? It doesn't make sense. If you can't act right, don't be outside. Period. If you can't sit over there and figure out, look at the situation and go, okay, we're at a festival. It's a bunch of people up in here. Let me not act, have some decorum and don't act too crazy. You can have fun. Nobody's telling you not to have fun. I'm not the type of person, as many people joke around with me that I'm that type of person that kills the fun. I'm the type of person I try to be responsible with my fun. So if it's one of those situations where you are putting other people's lives in danger, that is potential ramifications on your hands. So you have to be very careful how you move out here. You can have fun, you can laugh, you can joke around, you talk crap to whoever you talk crap to, kid around, joke around, but at the end of the day, like, bro, like, people have been inside for a whole year. Act like you got some sense. Sis, don't be doing all this extra stuff. It's crazy out here. But on the bright side, we did have Kanye and Drake reconcile their differences. Yeah, your thoughts on that? Because I thought it was pretty fitting that they.
Bruh, I'm just like, you. Hold on one second. Sorry. I'm just like that. I feel like Kanye was like the only one who like really had a problem in the end. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always the person who actually has a problem that's when the beef is squashed. You know what I'm saying? Like, little prime example. Omarion ain't had no problems with Fizz messing with, you know, his ex April, but you know, he was just like, I don't got time for the drama. All y'all gonna get off this tour, right? And then what, like a month ago, Fizz apologized on the tour on this year's tour.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then they're like, oh, well, the beef is over and blah, blah, blah. Omarion, bro, he said something once. And he didn't say anything bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you, bro, when have you ever heard, like, when was the last time you heard Drake say something about the whole Kanye thing? Never. Really? But you heard Kanye running his mouth, though. So I'm like, it's squashed now because Kanye.
I mean, you've had Drake deliver some subliminal shots, but it's one of those situations where it's like at some point, y'all not about to do what other rappers are about to do. Y'all too significant for something like that to happen.
Right.
So what are we doing?
And plus, like, you know, them doing what they're doing, you know, they're really, you know, coming together for a good cause. I don't know if you heard that they're doing they trying to do a concert to raise awareness for unjustly being incarcerated under the judicial system for wrongfully convicting somebody, right? So like they're bringing awareness to that and trying to raise money for that awareness and also for what happened with Larry Hoover. Right. So you know, like it like, you know, with the bad, there's sometimes some good, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think what they're doing now, you know, to try to raise awareness for that, like, that's definitely like a good cause. You know what I'm saying? Because too much in the Black community, we have too much like crabs and barrels. You know, so for Ye to finally be like, oh yeah, you know, like I think that's very commendable of him to do.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I agree as well. I think it's one of those situations where if Jay Prince can get anybody in a room to talk or squash beef, it's definitely Jay Prince is suitable to do that. However, you know, part of me is like, okay, I find there's a couple of convenient things that I find. Follow me on this. You make amends right around the time the Astro World issue happens. You make amends right around the time that we find out that Kim Kardashian is seeing Pete Davidson. I find that to be very strange. I just find those three instances right around the same time weird.
Because if you told me a year ago,
but they do that to, it's an old tactic that the Romans used to use, you know, that we, you know, persistently have used to mold our government system pretty much. And it's the tactic of doing one thing over here. It's like the sleight of hand type thing. You do one thing here to make them focus on this when really this is what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, and I've always seen that to be Prime example, they let that boy off, the Rittenhouse boy off, but
Yeah,
then the three folks with Mari, um,
Ahmaud Arbery.
Aubrey, my bad, I'm sorry, for Aubrey were locked up or like indicted, so
No, they got charged.
they got fully charged. Okay.
Yeah, they got fully charged. You know what I'm saying? So they're guilty. The verdict was guilty.
Like,
But
but also, but that's what they do though. Like, it's like
it's very
they got
inconsistent.
convicted, but they let that boy off for literally murdering people, and then bragging about it, and then he got off like that, like it was nothing, son.
I think what frustrates the system, right, is the inconsistency over the rules. Let me say that again. I think that what frustrates us as citizens is the inconsistency that we see in the justice system. So on one hand, we'll see the three people of Ahmaud Arbery get off, but then on another hand, we'll see George Zimmerman get away with pretty much murdering Trayvon Martin. So that is what frustrates us. Yeah, and that's what frustrates us because it's like, okay, if y'all gonna be inconsistent about this, like it gets to a point where we don't even trust our judicial system or our justice system to actually give us justice. We don't trust these courts to do everything fair.
Hey, bro, when you really think about it, son, we ain't the ones making the rules, bro.
Yeah,
So
it's
if we're
true.
not the rule makers, they make, like, bro. It's like when your parents used to tell you, "Do as I say and not as I do."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah.
necessarily what it is, because we're not the ones making the rules, so they can bend and break and do whatever to the rules as they see fit. You know what I'm saying? They like, oh well, you like with the Rittenhouse boy, oh, it was self defense and they was jumping me and blah blah blah. But it wouldn't have been self defense if your ass would have stayed home.
So you would have
Like,
stayed home. This wouldn't have happened.
And keep in mind, the Jacob Blake incident is something that capped this whole thing off, which was again the another situation where an unarmed black man is being gunned down by police, and I think he's still in a wheelchair at this point. So, luckily he survived, but he's still in a wheelchair for this point. Like, you know what I mean? So, it's one of those instances where we lose faith because of how inconsistent the system is. They don't mean what they say depending on what case it is. So it's one of the things very disheartening, and it's one of the things I wish something would change. But I think it's one of the situations where we have to put ourselves in these positions where we're voting locally, or if we're not voting locally, we're putting ourselves in these positions where we are the state senator that you talk to, where we are the people in Congress. And I'm not talking about the old folks that just been doing the same song and dance for the same over the years. I'm talking about get some new faces in there, some new ideas. And as easy as it is for me to say this, I know it's difficult because of the way that system has been ran for so many years. It's difficult. It's difficult to change a system that is ran a certain way. Like, me asking people to do that is like that's like going to Baltimore and asking people to not vote Democrat sometimes. Cause it's like, like y'all have been, you know what I mean? It's like y'all been voting this way and they keep screwing the citizens over. So at what point that y'all can keep voting for these people? You know what I mean? So,
right. But also you can't expect you know, those people to change their mentality when they've been doing the system the way that they want to for years.
Mm-hmm.
Period. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like when people like talk about, trying to, help older folks understand, or, I'm not going to say older Caucasian folk to understand racism or whatever, or try to, make them understand. I'm like, bro, you can't change somebody who don't want to change. They don't want to change. That's why it ain't changing, because they don't want to change.
Mm-hmm.
Period. And I'm not saying all of them are bad, but you can't change a system that is systematically woven in its old ways.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, man. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this before we get up out of here. And that's Young Dolph. Sadly got gunned down. He passed away. Let me ask you this question, man. The title of this episode follows along the lines of this, man. Is it too dangerous to be a rapper now? Because we're seeing a lot of the generations rappers that have popped, they get taken out right as they pop. XXXTentacion, King Von, I can go down the list. Nipsey also, I'll go down the
Dolph
list.
has been out for years, dog.
Yeah.
What was he? 30? What is he? 35?
I'm looking it up right now.
I know he's 30 something.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. 36 years old?
Right. Dolph has been around for years, bro. Years. It just depends on,
who discovers him.
Right. It just depends on who, you into. You feel me? Dolph has been around for years, bro. He been about the game.
Mm-hmm.
Long time. You know what I'm saying? Why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it because, he pretty much realized that, bro, I'm old now, bro. I can't be, talking about getting it in the streets and all of that other stuff. Like Future. Like, Future's up there in age too. He been around for a break. Future's music has somewhat changed. I mean, he still be talking about messing with females and stuff, but like, even he changed his music about doing drugs and stuff.
Yep.
Why? Because he's older now.
Mm-hmm.
So is it like even Snoop? Like Snoop, Snoop do what Snoop do, but ain't nobody gonna run up on Snoop. Like, so like my whole thing is like, why now? Like, if you had beef with son, X years ago, why run up on him? Why he was in what, a muffin shop or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, what was the point in that? Like, why have beef now? Oh, I ain't like what he said on the set, son. I guarantee you, the person who hit, like, who hit him is probably a young man trying to make a name for himself. Guaranteed. Because that's how that street shit always go. Some young cat want to make a name for himself. All right, well, let me go clap son since he was tripping back in the day. Bro, that's old stuff, bro. Like,
yeah, but then you hearing rumors it could have been somebody from Yo Gotti's camp, Soulja Boy's camp, we don't know, and then it's like, like, these are people we know he's had problems with or had dislike for, but it's one of those situations where it's like we had enough. I'm tired of seeing rappers get gunned down. You don't hear nothing about no daggone rock band having issues and then somebody gets gunned down in Sunset Boulevard, for God's sakes.
I told you, bro, like, being part black, bro, I love what we can do as a culture. But also, we tend to be and have that sickness of crabs in a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
That is woven heavily within our joint, bro. It's like youngins don't like to see other youngins make it, bro. Like, granted, XX XX was a young cat. He was starting to come up, and then youngins clapped him. King Von is another one. He was starting to come up, and then he got popped. You know, Pop Smoke, he another one, starting to come up. Then he get popped. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, bro, like, does them making money really bother you that much that you got to go take their life, bro?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
It's crazy. Like, there's enough money to go around. There's enough space to go around. There's enough fans to go around because, I mean, hip hop has been the most popular genre
In the world, it's not even close.
Bro. Since it's inception, you talking about era. The reason why disco ended is because of hip hop, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it changed everything. And I mean everything. Like, and it has changed cultures everywhere, bro, throughout the whole entire world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it was meant for creativity to be put out in a different way to keep people out of the streets.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many people are fans of the Wu-Tang show, but that it shows that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you watch the Wu-Tang show, it's like, they all made the choice to be like, yo, I'm done with the streets, son. Like, I get, like, and prime example with youngest who was really rolling in the street, Ghostface, Capadonna, and Raekwon. Like, them youngins was really out there in the streets, son.
Yeah.
Like, same thing with Inspector Deck. Like, they was really out there rolling for real, son. And but then they chose to be like, bro, like, this shit, like, that is either I'm gonna end up dead or in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And Ghost almost died. So, and Raekwon got that limp because he got popped by accident in the knee. Like, but like, that's the whole thing that it boils down to, son. Is like, and like, that's my whole thing about when I tell people, I was like, you got kids out here talking about, oh, I'm from the streets and blah, 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 blah. Like, I was like, bro, you got people who ain't from the streets that want to be from the streets. And then the youngest who are from the streets don't want to be in the streets.
Right.
Why? Because we know that shit don't get you nowhere but dead or in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And what you gonna do then?
Right. And it's in front of your face on social media, so you can't say you don't know. I mean, it's right there in front of your face. It ain't like how it was in the 90s or 2000s when there wasn't anything such thing as social media. This literally is right in front of your face. Like, this phone exposes you to everything. So it's one of those situations where it's like, I keep saying, I noticed that in this episode. I keep saying, and it's one of those situations like, I remember I keep saying, I need to stop saying. But yeah, man, I'm looking at this and I'm sitting over here thinking to myself, like, you can get a lot of information just off this phone. This is a digital library, and you can see exactly what's on this phone, what you want to be exposed to or not. It's right here. And that's why it's crazy.
Is different now too. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why love and relationships are different now too, because a lot of this generation base everything off of social media. Oh, if I know females personally who don't rock with dudes who don't got a Facebook or Instagram, son, because they feel like they hiding something.
Yep.
Maybe they just don't like being on social media. Maybe they just don't want people in their business.
Right.
But they don't think about that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if they can't find it on the internet, then like you suspect. How? Because I don't want people in my business? I'm suspect because I want my life to be personal.
Right.
It's literally called my personal life, son.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy, dude. This one is. I sit over here and I look at this, and I'm sitting over here thinking to myself, like, you guys do not realize. I literally could not talk to somebody for months. Literally bring up something that they did, all because I saw it on social media. Oh, hey man, I heard you. I said, look at your son, he's getting big. Fam, you put up a post. Your son is 5 years old now, but he almost tall as you. Like, and I got that information from social media.
Right. People just know.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
To be nosy.
Yeah. I had a classmate. I had a classmate on Facebook. She was putting all her business out there. All her business about this person, talking about it was definitely a relationship issue, but it was like the whole tea was just out there. This was years ago. And she just kept on doing it, and it got to a point where it was like she just started unloading on all that type of stuff. And then the next couple statuses were, y'all all up in my business. Woman, you just literally put your whole business out on Facebook.
Right. That's my whole thing.
For everybody to see.
I've seen people like gassing on Facebook. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. But
they get mad when a bunch of people that ain't talk to you don't want to hit you up at DM, be like, yo, what's going on? Like, or yo, I saw this. What's up with this?
Don't hit me up. But you just put it all out there. Like, come on, son. Clearly,
it's the goofiest stuff ever, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't get it. Because sometimes I'll sit there and I'll go, you are literally putting all this out there and you're going to get mad when somebody comment on it. But it's for public consumption because they're friends with you. You putting this out there. If you don't want something out there, as time went on, if somebody... Now, I will say there are some friends on Facebook, they handle it way more mature. If they not with that person no more, you ain't going to know till 9, 12 months later.
Facts.
That's the difference between being mature and then another example where she decided to do a lot of immature stuff. And you want to let people up in your business. Girl, get out of here. It's the holiday season. Go eat a turkey, get some mac and cheese. Open up a couple presents, something, be with your kids.
It's almost December 1st. You better start singing the Donny Hathaways, bro.
Yeah, just don't say Mariah Carey, because that's the most overplayed. That gets more overplayed than a Beyonce song.
Man, my sister today had me dying today. Because, you know, she knows one of my favorite Christmas songs is, the In My Mind jump. In My Mind, the Temptations jump.
Uh-huh.
In my mind, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like, and on the TikTok, it was like, oh, Thanksgiving is over. Oh, it's the In My Mind. And then she started playing the song. That joint had me hollering, like, bro, like December 1st is almost here, bro. You know what time it is? I'm trying to hear that. This Christmas, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm ready to, I'm ready to watch The Grinch 5 million times. I'm ready to watch Jingle All the Way, Santa Claus, all that. Man, you better get your mind right. Come on, man. They know what it is. Out here trying to get all mad and whatnot.
Yep, I definitely agree with that, man. Well, it's been good talking with you. We're going to wrap up the episode. However, anything that you want to plug with your brand, now's the time. Anything you got going on?
Just right now, like, I got my last wrestling show of the year. And then, going to be at Ocean City Comic-Con. Come check it out, man. One more, if you want to end your year out with a con, Ocean City Comic-Con, man. Come. It's going to be great. One of my favorite Power Rangers is actually going to be there. He played Trent in Dino Thunder. He was the White Drago Ranger. He's going to be there. The Blue Dino Thunder Ranger, he's also going to be there. And there's going to be a couple more other folks. So, me and mine, we're going to be up there. A lot of folks from my favorite comic book shop, shout out to Twilight Zone Comics. They also going to be up there. So man, just come out, man. If you want to con to end out you guys' year and want to make it like a family event, it's on December 11th. So yeah, man, come through with the come through. Know what I'm saying? Yeah, like it's gonna be dope, man. It's gonna be dope. And yeah, man. And that's and then 2022, here we come. It's coming. We still got a few more movies coming out in December. So, get ready for that Matrix, get ready for that Spider-Man. I know everybody's ready for Cobra Kai and The Witcher. So, the Boba Fett show, yeah, we in there. So, we got some things that this year has been in and out with a bang on Netflix, Disney Plus, and HBO Max. So, I'm definitely ready to see what's happening.
Yep, absolutely. Well, with that being said, this has been another edition of Audio Airstrike. We appreciate you for listening, taking the time out to listen, and also we appreciate you to follow us on YouTube, TikTok, and all other podcast platforms. Make sure you check us out. Until then, have a good one. Happy holidays.